Again, as I mentioned earlier, it is 9/11, so we are going to take a moment, just a moment of silence, to pay our respects for those that lost their lives that day and for everybody impacted by that day. So just please, moment of silence for 9/11. All right. Thank you, everybody. So this is it. This is our first live episode of Growth Success Radio. I recorded myself 3 times. It's on growthsuccessradio.com. There were 3 previous episodes, one interview with Devin Dixon, who owns Sprout Connections out in Stamford, Connecticut. Those were recorded. They were pre-recorded and uploaded. This is live. We're going live for the first time today. We will be here every Friday at 10 a.m. and we will most likely have a guest on every week. We already have the next few weeks lined up. Thanks, Eugene, for grabbing a couple people as well. I am Scott Gumbar. I own Scott Gumbar Digital Marketing Agency. So what I do is I help businesses find new clients, qualified clients using the internet, through social media, through SEO and Google and Bing and Yahoo, through email, through video, and now through podcasting. I've actually encouraged one of my clients to do this as well, so we'll see where that goes. And my co-host here is Eugene Resnitsky. I'll let him tell you about his business.
Yep, thanks, Scott. I co-own Traeger Insurance. We are an insurance agency based in Meriden, Connecticut, and my job within the agency is to grow our commercial lines, help manage that. I'd like to say what we do for our business clients is we act as their risk manager, allows them to do what they need to do, continue to grow their business, and we make sure that if there's what ifs that happen, that they're properly protected, and if there's a claim, we help them through that process.
And Joe Fournier, part CPA, part attorney. Tell us about your business.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Gene. Fournier Legal Services. We're a general practice law firm specializing in business and estate planning. We operate primarily in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts.
Thanks, Joe. So today's, pretty much every episode will be about how to help your business grow. And Joe is a little bit of an expert, I guess you could say, and he'll probably be the first one to tell you that he's an expert, except when it comes to his own business, but because he tells us that all the time, and I think we're all guilty of that. We let our own business stuff suffer. Eugene's probably an uninsured driver or something, I don't know. I'm just kidding. You never know. It's true, you never do know.
Let's get into an accident. We'll find out.
Just call me.
Call you. I thought we were supposed to call.
I don't know how Bob Gould will feel about that.
Too.
So Eugene, you got any insurance updates? I hear a lot about cyber liability these days. Josh says don't get in an accident, Eugene.
Well, yeah, cyber liability is kind of like the biggest thing right now in the insurance world. Especially with all the hacks we see on TV, we hear about them. There was a Home Depot, the iTunes hack. Now, hopefully nobody here is affected, but the Ashley Madison hack, all those hacks. So brought to light the cyber liability. So what cyber liability is basically 2-part coverage. There's coverage for the business owner in terms of their expenses. That's to notify the people, to notify the proper authorities. Sometimes they'll even pay for a ransom. So if somebody holds the information hostage, the insurance company will actually pay for that up to the limits, obviously. It also pay for credit monitoring for the clients. Now there's also the liability aspect of it, which will pay in case one of your clients says, hey, somebody stole my identity. I have $1 million in credit card debt, and it's your fault. So if the courts deem that it is your fault, the insurance will pay for that. So that's basically cyber liability.
So essentially anybody who's doing business over the internet should have this type of coverage.
Either internet or even if they hold client data on a computer, because if your laptop gets taken, So, for example, if you're a doctor and you have client medical records on your computer and your laptop gets stolen, now that's
Didn't
client's
that happen
information
here
that's
in
out.
Connecticut to somebody?
Yeah, I also had a kind of an acquaintance that he was in the financial services. He got his laptop, it wasn't even stolen. I think it was lost. This was a few years back. He actually lost his securities licenses over that. Even though nobody stole it, the fact that it was just lost, he lost his securities licenses. And his firm had to do all the proper steps to cover themselves and the clients that potentially were on his computer.
I think too, Gene, you have this additional factor also, which is just the cost. If you're especially, for example, in healthcare, there are certain statutes in place that require breach notifications. So you really have these additional costs that are not budgeted for your company, in addition to the other concerns that you have.
I think it's around. I think the average cost I heard was $200 per person for all the notifications required.
Wow, that's crazy. So the insurance is definitely worth it then. So if you do need that kind of coverage, and if you, again, like Eugene said,
and the best part about it is that it's fairly inexpensive. A lot of times we add it as an endorsement, and there's also standalone policies that will give you more higher limits and more comprehensive coverage.
So definitely talk to Eugene about that. If you feel you need that kind of coverage or any kind of coverage, there's tons of other coverages that Eugene can talk to you about for your business. And it's Traeger Insurance Group in Meriden, Connecticut. And I did see Josh posted last night that you guys are able to help people in other states too. I don't recall the states. I know he said California soon. But so talk to them because they can probably help you out. Myself, I'm just going to say I don't really have a social media update per se. Or any type of marketing update per se. There's tons of them out there. Obviously, if you're on here, you know Blab is new, and there's Periscope, and there's Meerkat, and there's probably more coming. I was told about another one yesterday called, I wrote it down here, Shindig, which somehow ties into Facebook, but it's for large group, so bigger than 4, I guess. So that's something to look for. I Googled it last night, and there's some information on the website. I think it might still be in a trial or a beta test or something. But check that out. That's also coming. Welcome, Ryan Brown. Again, for everybody on here, please, if you can tell a little bird to the left of your screen, that would be awesome. We get some more people in here because Joe is going to educate us today. So as I was saying, the thing I wanted to talk about with Facebook is this. We shared this episode, I posted this episode on 2 different Facebook pages, my own, and then the Facebook page for Growth Success Radio last week. And it was only shared, I think, a total of twice off of my page and once off of the Growth Success Radio page. And because of just 3 shares total, it was viewed over 700 times on Facebook. So I hear a lot that people complain about the fact that Facebook essentially wants you to pay to get your post, your content out there. And yes, they do want you to pay, but you can still market it organically if you just get a couple of shares, or if you do certain things right, you can market organically. The other thing that you can do to increase your engagement would be video. So this will, Joe, I hope you're okay with this. This will get posted as a video to Facebook and YouTube and a few other spots. So just a couple notes on how you can organically get a little more reach on Facebook. Look for that. Try it out and see how it goes. So Joe, you are CPA and you are an attorney, and that means you've been in school or you were in school for a long time.
Took a lot of tests.
A lot of tests. So how did that go? What made you decide to do both?
Well, I enjoy both, Scott, a lot. Accounting and law are very different academic approaches and professional approaches. Accounting is a much more quantitative and very definite with the results. It's easy to know whether you've gotten to the right answer or not in accounting. Everything balances. With the law, after I finished some time in accounting, I worked as an accountant. I enjoyed it tremendously. But I realized from meeting with different clients in different industries that there were different ways to approach the thought process. And the law really is a very different approach, as opposed to accounting where everything balances and there's typically a right answer. With the law, there are many potential answers. It's almost unending. And to be a good attorney, you're constantly thinking about the different potential angles to assist your client. And I just like the fact, I think they're very complementary. And I think having an accounting background is tremendously helpful when advising clients in a legal sense.
Okay, it's interesting. How much school did you do after high school?
Geez. 4 years of college, 3 years of law school.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But I do teach. I actually still teach accounting because I do enjoy it so much, and I do mostly legal work now. So I am back on college campuses periodically, which is fun. So
okay, and I think if I recall correctly, you were teaching in Rhode Island. Are you still teaching in Rhode Island, or did you?
Yeah, well, I'm adjunct professor of accounting at University of Rhode Island, and I am beginning a semester will be adjunct professor at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, in their MBA program, teaching accounting.
Awesome. All right, so Joe, as you know, this show, we've talked a couple times before the show, but the show is primarily about business growth and success and ways to accomplish that. And since you are, one of your focuses in your practice is business law, I know you consider yourself general practice, but you have mentioned business a few times. And that's the focus of this show, and that's why we had you on, because we want your expertise. So let's start with what is your best source for clients? So how do you find clients, and where do you feel it works the best for you?
Well, I think, as is the case with so many businesses, right? I think your existing clients in word-of-mouth referrals is generally your best source of business, and it certainly is the case with us. It's almost exponential, right? You start doing good work for someone, and then before you know it, you're getting calls from people who know people, and that really is a great funnel for us. I also have been successful using email marketing, newsletters.
Okay. I hear that from a lot of attorneys, actually.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it works. It's a great top-of-mind awareness, and you can throw in some substance, right? So that there's some bite to it. And also, we do other things. We do social media. We're pretty active on Twitter and Facebook. We try to be very consistent with that. Do some local newspaper advertising, and we do probably one a month on average, some type of a seminar or presentation.
Okay, awesome. So you're fairly active. I do see your Facebook posts often, so I know you're doing pretty good on Facebook. Eugene, fire away.
Yeah. So, Joe, what would you say your ideal client is? What type of people do you like to work with?
That's a great question, because there's so many different attorneys out there, right? Well, I think for us, we can help companies in a variety of ways and in a variety of stages. But I think, Gene, the best client for us is a company that is in growth mode, that has legal issues and legal concerns, but isn't quite ready to go hire that full-time general counsel. So they have the need, they have the bills that they're paying, but not enough so that they want to go hire someone and be locked into a salary. By coming to us, it's an ideal client for us because we're going to position ourselves price-wise much less than a full-time hire, but we can also add a variety of advice, especially on the business side, to supplement the legal advice that they may not get if they just hire a law firm, a typical law firm.
All right. So you mentioned legal advice, but that's very broad. What type of legal advice do clients usually come to you with?
Well, we spend most of our time on three main areas. Most of our time on contracts, either drafting, reviewing, negotiating contracts. The employment side, so companies that are looking to hire employees, get them to sign agreements, non-disclosure agreements, things of that nature. Or companies who are releasing employees and they're worried about managing their risk and their exposure on that end. So contracts, employment, and then mergers and acquisitions. So really small to medium-sized businesses that are looking to acquire new companies, merge with another company, or sell their company. That's a great client for us.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, I think Scott's having technical difficulties. Oh, you look like you were having technical difficulties.
I move. I'm fast. I'm like the Flash. Look at that. Look at that. My cameras can't keep up.
Or it could be just the shine off your head.
You know, next week I'm going to put some baby oil on. Watch. Everybody will be blinded. So I mentioned it earlier, and I only said it because, and it's probably not true, but you say it to me all the time, that you're the expert in helping everybody else's business except when it comes to your own business. So what do you find to be the biggest difficulty in running your own business?
And we face the same challenge any other business does, right? But I feel like the single biggest challenge, Scott, is how do you grow your business while you're working in your business, right? So it's the classic working on versus working in. And you go through these periods where you're so busy and you're so attentive to client needs all day long for days or weeks at a time, and you realize, oh, wait, I haven't been doing my seminars. I haven't written any new content for my blogs, and it's just a balance, and I think we do okay with it, but it's still certainly a challenge.
That's very true. I find myself doing that all the time. I'll look at my website and realize I haven't written a blog post in months. I need to, and then I'll go through this period where I'm writing a blog post like every few days, and then I fall off again. It's crazy, but yeah, it's true. You're either working in or you're working on your business, and you got to find that balance, I guess, or you have to hire somebody to manage the day-to-day operations. Which, the target audience for the show is small businesses, and I see a few people on. I know Zeph is a small business owner. We're supposed to get some other people on, Joe. What happened to those guys? Our fellow BNIers. Anyway, so it is difficult to do both, and it's, how would you resolve that? How do you think you can fix that? Or how would you fix that? How would you fix it for another business? Maybe that's easier for you.
Well, I think that there's no quick or easy fix, but I think the two biggest, it's a great question, by the way. I think the two biggest things you need are, number one, you need to recognize it. If you're a small, medium-sized business owner trying to grow your business, if you don't recognize that, if you don't recognize it, you need to work on it and not just in it, then you have problems, right? So you have to recognize it. That's number one. And then as far as fixing it, I think the most important thing you can do is develop systems, processes, and then execute on those systems and processes, right? So you can put more into the funnel and get the same results. Right, while you have your fixed costs. And that is something that I know I work real hard on. It's developing, really, regardless of what we're doing, right? We're developing checklists, we're keeping good notes, we're organizing our files consistently. And I advise other businesses to do the same thing so that the next time that learning curve decreases and continues to decrease. And then eventually you have a very efficient, well-oiled machine into which you can throw more into the funnel and get the same results.
So to have a system in place, essentially.
I think what also helps that is having some type of model schedule. I think that's a big thing for everybody to do, and more importantly, to have it on your calendar. Because then when you look at your calendar, we get push notifications all the time. You'll see it. It's like, hey, I need to go write my blog now, and you take the next 20 minutes or half hour to do it. Or you make that, a Sunday thing. When you're just sitting watching football, you quickly type up a blog and you're done with it. So I think having some type of model schedule also helps with that aspect of juggling working in your business versus working on your business.
See, I don't know about the watching football thing because my laptop might wind up in the TV.
Well, it depends what game you're watching. You watch a game that you don't care about.
I mean, I didn't care about last night. I almost threw the laptop at the TV. But anyway,
Well, it sounds like you cared a little bit, Scott.
I'm a Jets fan, so I wanted the Patriots to lose, but not a big Steelers fan either. But
so, as a Jets fan, are you preparing for the basketball season?
That gets bad too, because I'm a Knicks fan, and they're talking trades for Melo now. Can't win, man. Can't win. All right, so I mean, I think we're all on the same page. You got to have some type of system in order to help you succeed as a business. And as you grow, you probably put people in place to manage those systems, I would assume. Yeah. So the flip side of that, well, I'll let Eugene ask. You're up. Man. Come on. Stop zooming in. We don't want to.
My laptop's a little quiet. So that kind of brings up a point about, the difficulties that we face working in versus on your business. What other type of challenges do you see with the clients you work with?
Well, I see that, that issue is pretty clearly the biggest issue I see. I think also the employment context is very challenging for small businesses, right? So what's the motto, right? You hire slow and fire fast, right? You take your time finding people that are going to be the right cultural fit, obviously the right technical fit for your company. And it's difficult to do that, right? When you're in a smaller business, if you're in growth mode, you meet someone, you might connect with them. That doesn't necessarily mean right out of the gate that they're the right fit for your business long term. So I think that's an important challenge that businesses face. And likewise, firing fast, right? So once you realize someone's not a right fit, you just don't have the capacity to carry them. It's bad for morale. It's bad for the bottom line. So I find that to be a major challenge companies face. Another challenge, which is more on the technical compliance side, is keeping up with your filings. So it's exciting to start your new business. It's exciting to get yourself incorporated or get your LLC set up. But a lot of companies find, and then, right, you're getting new clients and you're busy and you're making some money. Well, then don't forget, you have these filings you have to do, whether it's tax filings, payroll withholdings, quarterly estimated tax payments, especially if you're a single member LLC, you need to make those estimated tax payments. In fact, there's one due on Tuesday, September 15th. And then, depending upon which state you're in, your annual report filings on the state side. Easy to overlook, right, when you're focused on your business.
It is, Joe, and I'm one of those guys that's last minute on the taxes. So thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that, kind of. But I mean, it sounds like a small business really should have an attorney to do some of this, right? Or a CPA, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely help, right? I mean, we can help you put that schedule together. Eugene was really a good point. Helping you manage that schedule, sticking to it. We understand, of course, the deadlines and the filing requirements, and we certainly have a significant amount of experience on the employee side, especially on the employee separation side.
Well, speaking about that employee separation or firing somebody, there's a lot of potential legal aspects of, wrongful termination. So how do you recommend your clients go about that so they can kind of try to mitigate that up front, so the employee doesn't come back and try to sue them, because those could be huge dollar losses?
Yeah, well, there are a few things you can do. First and foremost is to have the proper policies in place. So it is prudent, if you have employees, it is prudent to have some kind of an employee manual or some kind of a guideline. It doesn't have to be 60 pages long, like some of them. There's some kind of guidelines so that everyone's clear, everyone's on the same page. And then to document any problems, right? So if you can, for the most part, you can terminate anyone at any time as long as it's for a non-discriminatory, legitimate business reason. But the devil's in the details, right? Those are all fact specific. If anyone can sue you also. So, the better that you cover yourself better by having the right policies, the right procedures, and the right documentation in place throughout the process. That's the best way to mitigate the risk.
So what's your business, what is your greatest success in business, Joe, as of today? I know how old is your business?
Well, geez, I mean, I've been an attorney for 17 years. Fournier Legal Services has been around for about 6 years.
6 years, okay. So you're still kind of new.
Yeah.
So what do you think your business, let's rewind there. What's your biggest success in business so far in your 6 years?
I think Scott is primarily being able to help businesses in a variety of capacities. I don't think I realized when I was going into the business how much my prior experiences would help me help companies, right? So working in an accounting firm and working then in a larger law firm and then working in-house for a company for about 10 years. That was my experience before going out on my own. And when I go out on my own, I'm a lawyer. What I don't think I realize is that as a private practitioner, as an attorney now, that once I get into a client's site, I would be able to help them in all these other ways. It's like your other experiences kind of come rushing back. Say, oh, wow, you know what? Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? And I don't know for a fact, but I don't think all law firms are providing that broad range of advice for clients. And if you're looking for a single biggest success, and it's when I help a company accomplish what they want to do. And the best example is the merger. When I help someone buy a company that they've had their eyes on for a while, it's very rewarding. Client's happy, we're happy, even the person who sold is happy, right? Because they're doing what they want to do. So those are good results.
Awesome. So it sounds like your biggest success is really the success of others.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like to hear that. Go ahead, Eugene.
Yeah, it's good. No, that's good. I think, just from knowing, I think what helps is that you're still kind of, you're small. You're not like these larger law firms, so you can provide that hands-on, one-on-one service that others might not be able to because they have so much red tape going on in their employers. So I think that helps you out a lot, and that's good that when they hire you, and as well as your staff, and you're going to be the one that's going to help them out.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. I mean, definitely, it positions us clearly to be more competitive in our fees, right? We just don't have some of the overhead and some of the built-in costs that some of the other firms have, so it allows us to be competitive on fees. But the other thing, too, Eugene, that's important, it allows us to be creative with our fee structures. And being creative with the fee structure is something that can really help a small business. And I don't know if you were at the meeting a couple weeks ago when I talked about, I've had clients, and I currently have clients where I'm operating on a flat fixed fee arrangement. And, a lot of the larger firms just won't do that. They won't take that risk. And we're willing to take that risk because we're a little more flexible, right? We can be a little more nimble that way. And another big thing we'll do that I'm pretty sure bigger law firms won't do today in today's environment is we are willing to take equity positions at a client. So, one of my best, probably my largest client right now is a company that pretty much didn't have the cash funds to hire me when they wanted to get started. And I took an equity position in the company. Mm-hmm. And then that really kind of generates a partnership approach where, of course, I'm invested in helping that company be successful rather than just sending out legal bills, right?
I think that's very unique to take that equity position because it puts you both on the same side of the table. They're not just paying you; that you have a position in their company. You want to grow because it's going to grow your equity. So I think that's a very unique approach.
I actually did the same thing with one of my clients that I'm working with. I took an equity position in the company, and you're right; it does give you kind of a little more motivation to help them succeed, I guess you could say. Not that I don't want to see all my clients succeed. I absolutely do, just as I'm sure all of us on this Blab do. But, there's just a little extra something saying, hey, I'm part owner of this company, and I want to help them succeed.
Absolutely.
So that's a good point, and I think it's becoming a little more common now to see smaller businesses who need the help of an attorney or somebody in marketing or a CPA or whatever it may be to say, I can't afford your fees, but here, I'll give you a position in the company. I think that's becoming a little more common now, and I think it will help smaller businesses become more successful.
Mm-hmm. Good. So, it's a good trend.
Joe, switching gears just a little bit, I have a quick, I know it's not really a quick question, but maybe you can give somewhat of a quick answer. But you see this a lot with small businesses as well, where they don't know how they should form the business. Should it be an LLC? Should it be a C Corp? Should it be an S Corp? Is there a quick answer to that?
Well, yeah, it just depends on your situation and what your goals are. I mean, I think they're all excellent corporate entities. Depending upon how many partners you have, how much money you think you're going to make, and what kind of investors you may need someday would kind of drive the answer there.
Okay.
We do help with that. I mean, I enjoy that part of the process.
And speaking about that, I think you would agree that the most common entity is probably LLC, because it creates kind of this this wall between you and your personal assets. So that the question is, most people think it's almost impenetrable, but that's really not the fact or the truth of it. So what ways can that wall be broken down? So when, business gets sued, it can go to your personal assets.
Well, you have to be very careful to honor the formalities of the business and to truly operate your LLC as the business and to keep your personal stuff personal, right? So you want to, for example, make sure you have separate bank accounts, right? If you're working out of your house, make sure that you have a designated office in your home so that it doesn't look as personal, right? The more you are operating like a business, a smell test, then the more protection you're going to have. The more you look like you're just trying to bypass tax rules or just try to, more form of a substance or asset protection, for example, then the more likely you're going to be penetrated.
Okay. So sounds like the theme is have a process of everything. No matter what you do, is just have a process. If you want to operate like a business, have a process for it. You want to hire and fire people, have a process for it. So everything's process driven. And that way you can actually, in case you are sued, you can say, hey, I did this, this, and this. So don't come after my personal money.
And I think also, too, again, part of it depends on how many people are involved, Eugene, but it's difficult if you're a single member LLC, if you're a sole member, it's obviously more difficult to show that independence between business and personal for a variety of reasons. When you have partners or you have multiple members, it's easy. It just looks less personal. It looks more business. So that's something to keep in mind. And then you can always incorporate, too. Incorporation is a little more of a hassle in an LLC, but creates, especially if you're a single sole owner, it creates a little bit of a better separation also.
Very interesting. That's good
to
know.
For everybody that just came in, we had a few people come in. If you could just click tell a little bird on the left side of your screen, let everybody on Twitter know that we are live. We're talking to Joe Fournier. He is he owns a law firm in East Haven, Connecticut. It's a general practice firm, but he does help he helps businesses, period, with different aspects of their business, legal and he doesn't really do. He said he doesn't do a lot of accounting, but he can. He's a CPA as well. But please tell a little bird on the left side of your screen. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and we'll ask Joe. Joe, more than happy to help any small business owners who have questions. Like everybody on this Blab, we all love to help small businesses. I know that's a soft spot for me. Helping small businesses and coaching kids. That's pretty much my soft spots. Joe, speaking of kids, myself and you both have 4 kids. How do you find that work-life balance? Eugene's got one on the way, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Eugene.
Thank you.
That's always a challenge, right? Obviously, I love my family, and I love spending time with them. I'm very involved with the youth sports and the coaching and things like that. And I also really work hard to be good to myself, trying to get to the gym, trying to get out of the golf course or whatever it is, especially this time of year when we're running out of good weather and daylight. But I think I just try to maintain that fluidity. I do think that at some level, yes, I'm always working, right? I own my business. I'm always thinking about it. But I do work hard to carve out that family time. To reiterate something that Eugene had mentioned earlier in the context of business discipline, I use the calendar very successfully and very often. I don't know what I would do without my iCal, without sharing it with my legal assistants, and then also sharing it with my wife, right? So it's very important that I put everything in the calendar and I color code it and I stick to it and I carve out that time for myself. It's healthy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Apple.
I give you
Not
guys
a big
credit.
fan of Apple, but I use Google Calendar the same exact way. My son's
Actually,
stuff
Google
is
Calendar,
also.
I agree. It's better than iCal.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the first time an Apple person
Just have
agreed.
4 kids. I give you guys credit. I only have one on the way.
Yeah, well, you'll get there. Don't worry, Eugene.
Do you guys have any advice?
Just have 3 more.
Just catch up. It
Just
seems to be the theme in our group. Get plenty of sleep now because it's over in a few months. Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah. January.
Kids are like mine. It's over for a period of years also.
Yeah. I've got one that does not like to sleep in the morning. He's up bright and early every morning. Who needs an alarm clock in this house? So kids own you. That is true, Tim. They do own you.
On the bright side, it is worth it. It's worth it.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So Saturdays, my son has he has a bunch of things going on. He's got normally he's got swimming, karate, and then usually it's either basketball or baseball. So I changed Saturday's name to Isaiah Saturday, or Isaiah. His name is Isaiah, so it's Isaiah. I can't even say it. I Saturday. There you go. I Saturday. Because it's just, and then you would think after all of that, because they're all in the morning, you'd think after all that he'd come home and crash. No, he's bouncing off the walls the rest of the day.
Sunday, your day though?
No. Church, and then yeah, it's family day for the most part. We played Uno last week. It was good. It's fun.
Do you get to watch any football?
We'll find out this week. The crazy thing is my son loves sports, so he'll put the baseball game on or the football game on. He'll do it, and then my wife can't say anything when it's him, so it works out.
See, that's great. That actually is great when they get to the age where they can share and things like that with you. It becomes rewarding and takes off some of the pressure. So.
And he's only 5. That's the best part.
Right.
He's got years of this to go.
Right.
Joe, what made you decide to open your own law firm?
I have a real passion for helping businesses make more money. To me, it's kind of the perfect mix of the business and the legal has kind of motivated me to provide legal services that actually help businesses grow rather than simply operate as a drain on their resources. And you see, we talked about this briefly earlier when we talked about taking an equity position, but working where I worked, right, working at a larger accounting firm and then a law firm and then working in-house, I've had the unique opportunity to really see the challenges that businesses face. And although all the lawyers I worked with, or almost all the lawyers I worked with when I was in those other roles, those lawyers were helpful and they were very nice and they were very smart, for sure. But the system wasn't necessarily designed to work perfectly, right? they're billing by the hour. The more problems I had, the more money they made, right? So although they were getting me out of problems or getting us out of commercial litigation disputes or whatever, they still were in a strange way almost incented for us to have more issues, right? So I think what I've tried to do is carve out a practice where we're providing more value than simply just responding to legal disputes and legal complaints and running up the fees. When we're having our conversations with our clients, we're saying, okay, now what does this mean for your future? What does this mean for your budgeting process? What does this mean for your employees? How does this affect your morale? How can we do this more efficiently next time? So we're always trying to think outside the box and provide legal services that are more beneficial than detrimental to the company.
So you're being a little proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's a good point. I talk to my business owners about that. It's kind of having your team of advisors to help you grow and to answer any questions that you have, because so many things change all the time, especially in the legal world and then in the social media space. So having somebody like you and Scott on their side is huge. It's just somebody that can pick up, answer a phone call, and help them grow that aspect of their business. So I think that's kind of the role you take. You're more like, hey, I'm there on your side of the table, trying to help you grow, make sure legally you're protected, and tax-wise you're protected. And Scott will be there to make sure your social medias, people will find you on the internet, and I will be there to make sure that we cover you for the what if. So it's I kind of like that about your business.
I think we're the ultimate team right here. That's it. We're done. Yeah. Everybody hire us.
That's it.
Well, obviously Scott does a great job with what he does because, as he said stated earlier, we had over 700. Was it likes? 700 likes.
700. It was over 7. It was like 736 views. Just on the 2 posts. There was a couple other posts I didn't check, and it was primarily thanks to you and Josh Traeger, who's listening, sharing it. So thanks to you guys. But I just wanted the power of sharing. It really, that's why I keep asking you guys to tell a little bird on the left side there, for those that are listening. But the power of sharing. If you don't want to spend money on ads, this is the way to go. It's sharing. So I have clients that will spend money on ads, and I have clients that don't want to spend money. They don't believe that Facebook ad clicks are real or Google ad clicks are real, and I can understand why they believe that. Even some of my own testing is kind of showed some things that don't seem right. So if you don't want to spend money on ads, then share. Have people share it for you. So what I've started doing is business owners that I know, and I just did this I didn't do it yet, but I saw it today. So we all know Jeremy. He posted that about his speaking engagement, so I'm going to share it. And I think that's the way to go. If you know a business owner, you trust that business owner, then share their content. It is all about the content when it comes to marketing. So share it for business owners that you know, like, and trust. And at the end of the day, that's who you're going to do business with, is people you know, like, and trust. If I don't trust an insurance agent, I'm not gonna go to them. I'm gonna go to Eugene because I trust him. If I need legal help or anything for business, I'm gonna go to Joe because I know Joe, because I know, like, and trust him. And that's really what it boils down to. I can post marketing all day long, but if you suck at your relationships with your clients, you're still, and this actually happened with a locksmith that I was working with. He wasn't showing up for appointments. He wasn't answering phone calls. Just a lot of different things. And he wasn't getting the business he had anticipated, even though the marketing efforts were working. And it came to a head when he almost ran somebody off the road with his truck. They posted it on his Facebook page, and instead of addressing it, he deleted it. And that's a mistake, because now that person who posted it is going to, what are they going to do? They're going to tell everybody else, hey, this guy's a jerk. So it really does boil down to people you know, like, and trust. That's who you're going to end up doing business with. We have a few specific questions for you, and I think We still have about 15 minutes here. So I don't know, Eugene, you want to start them off, or?
Sure. Now, in your business, Joe, do you do any? Or I think you do it, like business coaching with the clients. It sounds like you do,
Sure,
besides just the tax and. So, on that aspect, what type of pitfalls do you find your business owners run into, or have, and how do you go about fixing those for them?
Yeah, I think some of the problems are some of the things we've already discussed, right? So you have business owners who just don't understand that they need to work on their business, right? So they're afraid to delegate, they're micromanaging, they're not putting systems and processes in place so that every time they're doing something, they're recreating the same wheel. And that is obviously an inefficient growth model. Also, very common pitfalls you see are employers who are afraid to have what I would call difficult conversations with certain employees.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just time to let someone go, or it's time to, there's a great book called It's Okay to Be the Boss, right? And it talks about that your company and your employees benefit from you not being afraid to give constructive criticism and to be the boss, right? To hold them accountable. I think also setting up a system where you have, and I love to do this, so I'm a little biased towards this, setting up a system of what I would call key performance indicators, KPIs. So setting up measurement systems. And what I love about the measurement systems is you cannot operate a business solely off the numbers. And I would never consult anyone and expect them to do that. But the numbers are very helpful, and they do tell a certain story. And I think it's inexpensive, and I think it's wise to put KPIs in place and then use them to help manage your business. In particular, I think that an objective system of measurements helps you dealing with employees, because it's not personal now. It's objective. It's this other, the numbers are what they are, and you either are or you're not. You either are or you are not performing in accordance with other people or with expectations or with budgeting. And I just think that that's a great way to run a business and to help run a business. So when I'm doing business coaching, those are the areas I generally focus on. And then I also really enjoy coaching on the customer service aspect. Customer service is something that we all kind of get, right? We all kind of know it when we see it. But it does not hurt to remind people of some of the best practices of customer service, right? Using someone's first name, Scott and Eugene, answering the phone with a smile, saying thank you, following up with maybe a survey, getting a system in place where you're sending birthday cards or holiday cards or stuff of that nature. So those are the areas I like to focus on.
Good. It is good stuff. I did read somewhere once before that the sweetest sound to anybody is their name. So good stuff. Any business or tax law changes coming that you would tell our listeners about?
I would say just kind of be aware. There are employees can increase now what they put into their 401k plans. I think the limit generally is $18,000. There are higher limits for IRA contributions. There are on the horizon two things that really we should all be at least generally aware of, and then depending on the size of your business, worried about is compliance with the Affordable Care Act and some minimum wage hikes, which are state. There's a federal floor and then the state-specific minimum wage hikes that will be in place, including Connecticut, over the next couple of years.
Joe, here, I have a question. You mentioned minimum wage. And Eugene, you too. I'd like to hear you chime in. But What do you guys think about the
I think I know where you're
$15
going.
an hour minimum wage?
Well, having a economics background, I think it's going to create inefficiencies in um, the wage force, especially in what we saw happen in Seattle, where they wanted the $15 wage. So McDonald's said, okay, we're just going to have these kiosks and people are going to come touch screen their order and we'll have people make it and that's it. So there's going to be no more upfront people. And I think that's what's going to happen is the bigger employers will kind of transition, or some of them might eat up that cost and do it. But the smaller players that are on the margin are all going to be knocked out of the market just because they can't afford. McDonald's might be able to afford, but Gene Resnitsky is not going to be able to afford to pay somebody $15 when they're paying them $8.
So yeah, that's exactly why I brought it up, because I saw what they're doing in Seattle. Seattle is the first area to test this $15 an hour minimum wage, and I agree. That's what's going to happen. They're going to either shut down, they're going to automate it, they're going to find a way to avoid paying the employee $15 an hour. And yes, McDonald's Corporation makes a lot of money, but the franchise owner's profit margin is very small. I used to run a fast food restaurant. It wasn't McDonald's, and I saw the profit margin. It was maybe a couple percent a month. It really was not that big, so they can't afford to pay these people $15 an hour. I understand why they want to do it, but I think at the end of the day, what ends up happening is they either don't have a job, which increases our taxes because now there's people that are unemployed, and need assistance, or everything else goes up. So no more dollar menu. Not that I eat it, but no more dollar menu. They have to recoup that money.
Like I said, it just creates
exactly.
inefficiencies.
Joe, what do you think?
I think I only eat off the dollar menu. I only look at the upper right hand corner. I have too many kids. I can't afford those Happy Meals.
Happy Meals for everybody.
No, I agree. I think I agree with the economics and the economists' viewpoint on that. I mean, I understand the intentions behind it, and it's well intentioned, but it may have that negative reverberation long term on the economy, or not even long term, medium term on the economy.
Yep, I agree. Agreed. Any pitfalls that Yeah. You did ask that, right, Eugene?
Yeah, we did that one.
So then it's time for our fire round, Joe. And this is information I didn't share with you earlier. Here we go. My computer is...
Be ready for the hot seat, Joe.
You already mentioned...
It's going to be nonstop.
You mentioned...
It's going to be like a machine gun of questions at you.
Yes. Favorite football... No, I'm just kidding.
Patriots.
What?
Oh.
All right, call's over. If you had the first pick, I'm making this one up right now. If you had the first pick in fantasy football, who would it be?
Would have been a tough call this year. Probably, I am in a fantasy football league, and we are in a points per reception league. So I would take Antonio Brown from the Steelers.
Oh, good pick. Even if it wasn't PPR, I might still take him. Okay.
We have him. We had a good night last night.
Oh yeah, yeah. Eugene, I don't think Joe told you. So Joe, what did you call it? You're the president, and your son's the GM.
Yeah, I am the owner of a fantasy football team. My older son is the general manager.
How old is your son?
He's 12. I was telling Scott earlier in last week that we finished the second place, and there's a payout, and he told me he wanted the money. I said, no, I own the team. You are the GM. I will pay you what you richly deserve. It was cute.
That's funny.
That's how you raise a child, right, Eugene? So there you go. Parenting tips 101.
Good parenting right there.
There you go. So Joe, your favorite business book?
Geez, that's a good question. I have a lot of favorite business books, but I would go with love the 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. The 4-Hour Workweek?
Yeah,
I'm writing that down right now. I want to work 4 hours.
I think we'd all love a 4-hour work week.
Your favorite activity outside of business?
Coaching, oh, definitely coaching baseball.
Oh, we're on the same page there.
All right. Favorite quote?
Probably because it kind of fits one of the themes we talked about today, but I like the quote of what gets measured gets done in the context of holding people accountable, and really that cuts across all areas of life, in my opinion. What gets measured gets done.
I agree. And then one piece of advice you wish you knew before you started your business.
I know exactly what I want to say. I'm just trying to say it properly.
I start playing the Jeopardy music
People
soon.
are, it's business, not personal. And the quicker you learn that, the better off you can be with your business.
I could see that. Yeah, you have to have a tough skin in business for sure, because no matter what, not everybody's going to want to work with you.
Right.
And you probably don't want to work with everybody anyway. I actually have a blog post on my blog about firing a client. Actually, it was the same client. Yeah, you don't want to work with everybody, and everybody's not going to want to work with you. So you need to have a tough skin for sure if you're in business.
I agree.
I didn't know that when I got into it, which was your original question, right? So I've had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I think we probably all did. I had to console Eugene. No, I'm just kidding. Joe, how do people find you?
Oh, our website, jeflegal.com, and phone number is 860-670-3535. We are on Facebook, both under Joseph Fournier and Fournier Legal Services, LLC, and on Twitter at Joe Fourn, Fourn.
Guys, make sure you follow Joe. Joe does blog on a fairly regular basis, and he is one of those guys that does the blog himself. He writes it himself, so you'll get some good tips, interesting advice. Yeah, it's his own voice, so definitely check him out. Facebook, Twitter, he just gave you the information. And his website, again, is jeflegal.com, right?
You got it.
Got it. Okay. And, my memory's not what it used to be, but what can I say? Eugene, any last parting thoughts?
No, I think it's very good. It's been very informative for me as well as a business owner. I think you make some great points. And
yeah, thanks, guys. Good questions. That was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah. And we'll see you Wednesday.
Yes, right.
Next Wednesday.
And make sure we all go to BNI Connect and count this as a 1-to-1-to-1.
Hey, enjoy Isaiah Day tomorrow, Scott.
Isaiah Day, yes.
Well, Gene and I do whatever it is we do on Saturdays. You have fun with.
He doesn't have karate tomorrow.
Getting a new grill for the new house.
Nice.
You're grilling tomorrow? I'm going to look for the stack of smoke and stop in.
Yes, you're like 5 minutes away, so just come on by.
Stack of smoke and stop in. So, guys, next week we will have Small Business USA owner Colleen Ferrari on. She will have some awesome business advice. So, Joe, feel free to come back, same time, same channel. And anybody else who watches this, please feel free to come back. Colleen is awesome. She also loves to help small businesses. It's her passion. She doesn't even really need to do it, but she loves doing it. So definitely check this out. Friday morning, 10 a.m. We'll be here every week. We'll have interesting guests every week. The website for this show is growthsuccessradio.com. The podcast will be uploaded there. We are on iTunes. I upload them to YouTube as well. So check it out. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be everywhere. Joe's going to share it. Eugene's going to share it. We're just going to spam you guys to death. So
we're just going to share it everywhere, every 5 minutes.
That's correct. That's pretty much what I've been doing since we've been in here. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
All right, later.